What is up, guys? This is David from Bronx Banter coming at you with another episode. Quick announcement before we get started on to the topic of Dylan Cease and Blake Snell and everything going on between them and the Yankees. Yes, there is more news. I wanted to bring that to you guys, but quickly, the catch up, the live show I've been telling you guys about that I'm so stoked and excited about. Instead of 7 p.m. this Friday, we're going to do it at 6 p.m. We may have to do it at 6 p.m. from now on because I don't want to get in the way of any spring training games or when regular season comes, any regular season games that usually start around 6:37. So we're going to be doing a live show at 6 p.m. Should last about 30 minutes. So it should be done by the time the spring training game starts. So we could all tune in. It's going to be like a little pre-game live show along with catching up on the week on everything that we may have missed up. Hence the name, the catch up. So I'll see you guys there. Make sure you be there 6 p.m. Friday. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Friday. Super excited for that. Now, hopping right into Dylan Cease and Blake Snell news. There is a lot more news that has been coming out. A lot of news has been a little bit contradictory. So I kind of want to clear things up a little bit. You know, that's what we like to do here. As of just a couple of days ago, I believe it could have been just as soon as yesterday, Bob Nightingale, per USA Today, said the Yankees would rather bolster their 2024 roster with Chicago White Sox ace Dylan Cease rather than free agent Blake Snell. Now, if you don't know, over the last few weeks, last few days, conversations with Blake Snell and the Yankees have been, I wouldn't say intensifying, but have been going on. They've been offering contracts. It looks like not a lot of movement has been happening. This is an offseason that a lot of reporters are saying a whole bunch of stuff. And not all of it necessarily means that it's 100% true, but things are still happening. And I believe this is probably a realistic take in per Bob Nightingale and I think may play a role into the leverage of the Yankees trying to acquire Blake Snell. I think this could be a negotiation tactic. But if you think about it, you could see why the Yankees would rather go for someone like Dylan Cease over Blake Snell. One, they're both considered aces. Now, Dylan Cease has his concerns with his ERA last year inflating, while Blake Snell has his concerns with his walk percentage and innings pitched. But even beyond both of those things, really, I believe it comes down. I know it sounds crazy to say, and I know a lot of Yankee fans are not going to be happy for me to say this word, but it comes down to payroll. The Yankees are on the highest luxury tax possible. What does that mean? That means they're getting doubled every dollar that they spend. So if they spend $1, they get taxed $2. May not mean a whole lot to you guys. But when you start talking about millions and millions of dollars, that starts hurting a wallet. I don't care who you are. So for the Yankees, if they pay Blake Snell $30 AAV per year, $35 million a year for Blake Snell, they're gonna get taxed where their payroll is gonna get hit to $60 to $70 million a year for Blake Snell to pitch hopefully 140 innings and hopefully have a season relatively close to a Cy Young year because you can't expect that out of a pitcher every single year. So they would probably, the reason why they would rather go for someone like Cease is also the years. They would have to only commit to Cease for 2 years and you could probably let him walk, maybe resign him, but probably not. Or you could go ahead and sign Blake Snell that is older than Cease, and you're going to have to commit an absolute minimum, if you're lucky, a 3-year deal, but he's looking more for a 7-year deal. So the years committed, the money committed, Cease is currently getting around 15 mil. So even if you double that, it's 30 mil, which I feel like 30 mil for an ace, especially for 2 years, is not too shabby. Is not too bad. I think it's something that the Yankees will be willing to do. But what makes it so hard, and Bob Nightingale continues to say in this same report that the negotiations with the White Sox for Cease are at a standstill with the Yankees, and that's probably because the White Sox want the world for Cease. If you don't know, a couple of months back, before the Orioles got Burns, the Orioles were reportedly in on Cease, and the White Sox said that they wanted Jackson Holiday, the number one prospect in baseball. So if they want Jackson Holiday, the number one prospect in baseball, what are they going to want from us? Well, they said it's reported that it would have started with Spencer Jones. And I don't know. I know 90% of the Yankees fans do not want to give that up. I'm pretty positive the Yankees don't want to give up Jones. We see why. He's having an amazing spring training, which spring training is spring training. But hitting a ball 470 feet and hitting most of his hits are over 100 miles per hour. That's that's not a fluke. That's just not spring training. That's raw talent right there. Raw talent, raw athleticism, and I can see why the Yankees don't want to necessarily give up on Spencer Jones. So that's probably where the standstill's at. And even beyond that, let's say they don't give up Spencer Jones and the White Sox are willing to not acquire Spencer Jones. Hal Steinbrenner is in his recent presser said he's reluctant and hesitant to give up pitchers like Warren, Hampton, and Beater because they've already given up so much pitching depth and pitching prospects in the Juan Soto trade. So, which I feel like if you're not giving up Spencer Jones, you have to be willing to give up some of these other pitchers, which Hal said it didn't say that he doesn't like, he's absolutely not going to give them up, but he's reluctant and hesitant. So that's probably where this standstill is a happening with this Cease and Yankees and White Sox possible trade. Now, if these guys are kind of off limits, what would this trade need to happen or consist of for it to happen? I'm interested for you guys to let me know down in the comments. I don't know. I mean, Yorbit Vivas is having an amazing spring training. I believe he's increasing his value. I don't know what the the White Sox infield looks like right now. They lost Tim Anderson after his huge regression. Maybe they could get a middle infielder like that, or even someone like Peraza. I know it sounds crazy to say, but who knows? But I'm interested to know what you guys think would be a part of that Cease deal if we know it's not going to be Jones, if we know it's not going to be, or most likely not going to be any of those pitchers, maybe at most, maybe one of those pitchers. And like I said, going back to the luxury tax and going back to payroll, I know a lot of you guys don't want to hear this, but do we want to pay 60, 70 mil a year for Blake Snell, like I said, with his concerns, possible concerns, on a part of a pitching rotation that honestly, like I said before, I would like Snell, but we don't need an ace. Would it be nice to have another ace? Cool. But we don't need another ace. So I see why the Yankees aren't super quick to go ahead and pay that $16, $70 million a year on their payroll for an ace that they don't necessarily need. And rather, what they need is more depth, which they got from Cody Petit and they got from Cody Morris. Could be getting their first names mixed up, but Petit and Morris. And honestly, here's my biggest take in all of this. Like I said, our pitching rotation, I feel like, is solid enough to get us through at least the first half of the season, where we could then reevaluate at the trade deadline. Or my other big take in this is, if do you guys know what kind of deal Cody Bellinger made with the Cubs? Also a Scott Boras client, along with Blake Snell. He signed a 3-year, $80 million a year, $80 million a year with, I believe, 2 opt-outs in his first and second year. And the Yankees kind of want to make a similar deal, I believe, with Blake Snell. So why can't this happen? Now, obviously, maybe at a different dollar amount. Maybe it'll be 3 years, 100 mil. So you could get your AAV to around 35 mil. But why can't this deal happen? I don't see why this deal can't happen. It's the only reason why I feel like it may not happen is because Blake Snell and Scott Boras feel like that they can't repeat a Cy Young year, and they want to cash in on that Cy Young year. That's the only reason why I feel like they won't go for a short-term deal with opt-outs. But otherwise, it's a little more likely and possible that that could happen. We see that Scott Boras is open to that idea of doing a short-term deal with opt-outs. The Yankees are interested in that. They've said it already. Hopefully a marriage can happen in that sense. But I'm going as far as saying this, if not, I think we're totally fine. I'm not saying that we are 100% World Series favorites, but I think vibes are high. We're looking good. I know obviously we're in a very optimistic mood in spring training right now. We're trying to be hype under any circumstance. But it's very possible that we are in very good contention. And again, we can reevaluate at the trade deadline. So let me know what you guys think. Should we get Cease? Should we get Snell? If we get Cease, what is that going to look like? If we get Snell, what is that going to look like? I 100% am an advocate for a short-term deal. It's going to come at much more dollars amount. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. What you guys think about the hat. Shout out to Stroman. He got me on the hat wave. I love the 1988 World Series hat. Anyways, guys. And if you liked today's episode, please make sure you subscribe down below. It'll truly mean the world. Check out what YouTube suggests will be a great video for you. And also, The Martian wants you to subscribe. Judge wants you to subscribe. So make sure you do. And until next time, peace and be blessed.